Have you ever wondered how your cells communicate with one another? Hormones are chemical messengers that travel throughout the body to coordinate complex processes like growth and metabolism. They can influence the function of the immune system and even alter behavior. Before birth, they guide development of the brain and reproductive system. Because of these chemicals, distant parts of the body can communicate with one another.
Hormones travel throughout the body, either in the bloodstream or in the fluid around cells, looking for target cells. Once hormones find a target cell, they bind with specific protein receptors inside or on the surface of the cell and specifically change the cell's activities. The protein receptor reads the hormone's message and carries out the instructions by either influencing gene expression or altering cellular protein activity. Neurotransmitters enable communication of information between neurons. This is accomplished by movement of chemicals across a small gap called the synapse. The chemicals are released from one neuron at the presynaptic nerve terminal. Neurotransmitters then cross the synapse where they may be accepted by the next neuron at a specialized site called a receptor. The action that follows activation of a receptor site may be either depolarization or hyperpolarization. A depolarization makes it more likely that an action will occur, and hyperpolarization makes it less likely that an action will occur.
What is the relationship between proteins and hormones? Although not all hormones are proteins, some proteins are hormones. Hormones are composed of amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. They regulate and protect the chemical reactions in the body. Both are external signals, meaning that a signal originating outside of the cell can then cause changes inside the cell. They both are chemical messengers which carry signals from one cell to another target cell.
Neurotransmitters belong to the nervous system, whereas hormones belong to the endocrine system. Neurotransmitters are transmitted in the synaptic cleft, whereas hormones are by blood. Hormones are produced by endocrine glands, while neurotransmitters are produced by neurons. Actions of neurotransmitters are extremely fast. Hormones could last for a long period of time, which could be in the range of a few seconds to a few days. Examples for neurotransmitters include acetylcholine, dopamine, and noradrenaline. Examples for hormones include ADH, GH, PTH, oxytocin, insulin, glycogen, and more. Hormones are able to regulate their target organs, but neurotransmitters are able to stimulate the postsynaptic membranes.
The four groupings of hormones are steroids, which are derived from cholesterol, are responsible for water balance, sexual development, and stress response, peptides, amino acids, and fatty acids. Lipid-soluble hormones are able to pass right through the target cell's membrane. They bind to receptors inside the cell, which activate the hormone, which then binds to a portion of DNA inside the cell's nucleus. Binding the DNA causes genes to turn enzyme activity on or off, which alters the activity of the target cell. Water-soluble hormones act indirectly on target cells. The cell membrane has a lipid bilayer and is hydrophobic, or water-fearing. Unlike lipid-soluble hormones, water-soluble hormones have to bind to receptors on the surface of the target cell. Once bound to the receptor, the enzyme activity inside the cell is altered. Depending on the hormone, enzyme activity is increased or decreased.
Insulin is a hormone required to convert food into energy for the body's cells. Beta cells synthesize insulin to regulate glucose blood levels. Insulin helps the body use glucose for energy by moving it from the blood into the body's cells, effectively lowering blood sugar as well. When insulin attaches to a cell, it acts as a key, allowing glucose to enter the cell to be used for energy or stored for later use. Without insulin, the glucose is unable to leave the blood and enter the cell, resulting in high blood sugar. The cells eventually starve from lack of glucose. If left untreated, high blood sugar can lead to damage in the eyes, kidneys, heart, and even coma or death.